Well, Democratic Congressman from California, John Garamendi, met with John Kerry last week to discuss the Iran deal. He joins us now. The congressman sits on the Armed Services Committee, among others. Great to see you tonight.
Good to be with you, Shannon.
All right, so what do you make of this characterization? Former Senator Lieberman saying it's inappropriate what former Senator and former Secretary Kerry is doing now. What do you think?
I don't think it's inappropriate at all. What I think it is, he's talking about the deal and how it works, why it's important. And that's important not only for the other nations to know, but certainly for us to know here. And it's really a diversion. The president, in about, 15 hours from now, is going to make an extremely important decision. And as was reported earlier here on your show, it's possible that that decision can just torpedo all of the effort to stop Iran from building a nuclear weapon, that they'll just go forward.
Well, you know, obviously, the administration sees it differently. You were a big proponent of getting this deal passed, and you've actually said it does need some changes.
Well, the actual deal was about the nuclear weapons. That's working. The international review, what is going on in Iran, that's taking place. We're quite certain that they're doing nothing right now. Now, Israel said that they were doing something in the past years. That's true. But since this deal has been in place, there has been no further effort, and in fact, they've rolled back. They put concrete in the middle of into their nuclear reactor, so it couldn't be used. So there are many different pieces to this. The rest of the story deals with what Iran is doing in the neighborhood. Clearly, they are bad actors. Clearly, they do have a ballistic missile effort underway. So why don't we do this? Why don't we keep the deal in place as it exists today and then build on it? Use it as a foundation. The nuclear issue, in place. Now let's build on the other pieces of this puzzle. That would seem to me to be the way to go forward.
And I know that you get in additional briefings about what's going on with Iran, but one of the major problems that everybody has, from Israel to people who disagree with the deal here in the U.S., is the verification process. This idea that they have 21 to 24 days to, when they're approached about an inspection, to move on with that. Okay, a former deputy director of the IAEA, which is this agency that watches over the atomics, Olli Heinonen, said this: a 24-day adjudicated timeline reduces detection probabilities exactly where the system is weakest, detecting undeclared facilities and materials. So are you confident that we have a real picture of what's going on in Iran?
Yes, I'm very, very confident. I'm confident for several reasons. First of all, when you're messing around with nuclear material, you leave behind trace elements, and those are detectable. You can't get rid of them. They are there, and they're not going to be able to be hidden. So if somebody is doing something in some facility, which we have under this agreement, the IAEA has the right to inspect every facility that they suspect something is going on. That's where the 25 days. If they're doing something there, they have left behind critical isotope markers that cannot be taken away. You simply scan those, aha, so you are doing something here. Now they're in violation. And all of the sanctions have what are known as a snap back. If they're not being obeyed, if the sanctions, if Iran is engaged in some sort of nefarious activity, the sanctions immediately snap back. So now let's build on what we have. We've got a good start on a major problem in the Middle East, Iran with a nuclear weapon. They're not going to have one for a long, long time to come, at least a decade, probably even longer than that.
You know, there are many critics who don't agree with that, who are very skeptical. Now, I want to finish up by circling back on former Secretary Kerry. A piece in the Boston Herald says this: if Special Counsel Bob Mueller is truly interested in investigating people who are colluding with nefarious foreign powers to undermine U.S. interests, John Kerry should be target number one for secretly meeting with Iran's foreign minister, we know now that's more than once, and other foreign officials in recent weeks to usurp U.S. foreign policy. It goes on to say, what other deep state officials have been working with Kerry to sabotage U.S. foreign interests? Congress must open an investigation to find out. A failure to do so will reveal just how partisan and corrupt the Department of Justice has become.
I suspect that was written by somebody that had an agenda. I suspect that was not the Boston Globe editorial board.
No, this Boston Herald columnist.
Very good. So it's a columnist that has an agenda. That's understandable. Maybe there's something there. Investigations are always appropriate if they're balanced and if they're just, and they really go after the truth. Now, the question here happens to be, so what are we going to do? We're going to spend all of our time on really a sidetrack, not even a minor sideshow. The major show here is the deal itself. And by the way, the American foreign policy is not established. When Kerry was out and about doing these things, there was no Secretary of State. And President Trump, to this moment, has not established what the American policy is with regard to the Iran nuclear deal. He said he doesn't like it. Well, no, he said he doesn't like it.
He's very unhappy with it, and he's going to give us the decision tomorrow.
But he hasn't yet decided what the policy is. He's unhappy. Fine, he's got the problem, he thinks. What is the policy? Not established. So how could John Kerry go against the American policy, which up until this moment, until 2 o'clock tomorrow, is the nuclear deal? The American policy hasn't changed. It is the nuclear deal. Now, the president can change it, and then at that point, maybe there's something to this op-ed.
All right. Well, we will continue to watch that. Of course, we're all going to be watching 2 o'clock tomorrow. We thank you visiting us for a preview tonight, Congressman.
Happy to be here.
Always great to have you.
Thank you for raising an important issue.